Hi, Dayna Martin here from unschoolingAmerica.com. I'm really excited to be doing a YouTube video tonight because it's been really a long time since my last one, so I'm anxious to be back on and sharing some more unschooling information for you. I've been pretty preoccupied. We've recently found out that we're expecting our fourth child this winter, so we've been really excited about that and kind of focused on that for a little while. So, and I kind of have to wait till I'm really inspired to do a video through a question or just certain, obsessive thoughts I might have that I want to get out there. So anyway, what I want to talk to you tonight about is, it seems like I get a lot of questions, or I read a lot of questions on like message boards, and it came up on Dr. Phil, and I recently did a radio show, my first radio show that I was a guest on. It was really cool. It was called Radiance and Chocolate. It was out of Santa Cruz, California. And it was myself and a couple other people on there. And one question I keep getting time and time again, or how are your children as unschoolers going to be prepared for the real world and to work against deadlines and know that there's rules and so forth. People make comments to me like, oh, your children are going to be in such shock when they get out there in the real world and they realize what life is really like. Well, I find that really interesting when people say it. I don't get offended. I just kind of smile and I share with them that we're in the real world every day, as I've said on past videos. And if you think about how an adult lives, in the sense of being part of a society, part of a culture, part of life, part of a world, and how we don't need to give adults lessons, that there's like lessons on rules and teach them in a classroom or in a traditional formal classroom setting about deadlines and so forth, because it's part of life. You just know it, you learn it through just living life. And I think when children aren't part of a school system and having to go against somebody else's agenda and rules and regulations and punishments and rewards and somebody else's deadlines, if children aren't working in that way, that most people know that they're not going to know they exist. Well, nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, my children learn in so many different ways just through living life with us that there's deadlines. We have our own business, for example. There's many deadlines when you have your own business. We have to get to the bank at a certain time. Our kids are part of that. They witness it. We model how life is. We model that there's deadlines and that there's rules. I'm embarrassed to say, but I got pulled over for speeding probably a month ago or so. My children, that's just an example of how my children know that there are laws. They're part of life. They're with me. They see that if you go over the speed limit, and it wasn't much over the speed limit, just a little bit. I didn't get a ticket, but anyway, so they learned just through that experience about that. That's just one example of so many that I could use of how my children learn about laws and rules and deadlines. And we have lessons, like swimming lessons, for example. We have to be there at a certain time. That's a deadline. We need to be there at a certain time or you miss it. There's real life situations. So it's not like our children are kept away from the real world. And I think people have the misconception that children in school are being trained for the real world, and that children that aren't part of that are just kind of set free with no idea of how it's going to be, when in fact it's just a different way to go about it. My children are going to be much more prepared for the real world because they'll have been in it from day one, experiencing it by my side. And like, if you picture yourself as a parent of an unschooled child as like a mentor in that way, they're learning right by my side. I'm their facilitator, I'm their partner, how life is. They're learning about those deadlines. They're learning about the rules and consequences. So it's when people say that, I don't really think that I don't know whether they're not thinking about what they're asking in that way, or I'm not sure. But anyway, I even had somebody say to me, how are your children ever going to learn how to stand in line? And I just about gasped, because, oh my gosh, I wish there were no lines in the world. We go to the grocery store, we go to the bank, we go to Storyland, this fun park, we stand in line. Our kids know there's lines because there's lines in the real world. If there wasn't, then there'd be no need to even learn it, would there? So I just don't think people really think about other situations where children have deadlines and rules and situations like lines or anything. We have to bring library books back at a certain time, or we pay a fee. I mean, there's hundreds and thousands of situations where our children learn these things as alternatively from children in school. So I really wanted to just talk about that, to tell people that it really is a misconception that they think our children aren't going to be prepared for the real world, and they'll be shocked when they get into it, because they're already into it. There won't be any shock. I know I was really shocked when I got out of high school when I was 18 years old and I saw what life was really like after being in a brick building, in high school for all those years. My children aren't going to have that shock that we did. So it's actually a total flip on what most people think it's going to be like. Our children are going to be very prepared, very strong, ready for it in a way that we weren't, in a way that children today in our culture aren't. So I'm just proud to say that I'm so proud to be an unschooling parent. I'm so happy for what we're doing. My heart fills with such joy when I know that we're giving our children this kind of life. It's awesome. It's amazing. We do so many fun things together, and we're all so happy. And that's just from following our passions and dreams, and we all learn as a side effect of doing all those things. So anyway, I'm so excited to be back on here, and just wanted to say hi to all my subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing to me. It makes me feel so good when I get a new person. It's so cool to check. I can't believe I'm already up to almost 100 subscribers. That's a lot of people interested in this life. So I'm so honored to be the voice to be bringing this to you. So if you ever have any questions, I'm a real easy person to talk to. You can email me anytime, call me, whatever you got to do to get your questions answered. I'm happy to answer them on YouTube, or just in person through email, or just happy to hear from people. So thanks again for making my channel as popular as it is, and I'm so happy to get emails from people all over the world every day about unschooling, and I feel privileged to be in this position and as an advocate. So thank you again, everybody. I hope you had a great weekend, and I hope to do another video real soon. And you can check out our new family blog. The address is on my YouTube channel. It's thesparklingmartins.blogspot.com. So check us out, see what we're up to every day, and have a great night. Thanks.